Are you considering starting a telehealth practice? Or perhaps you already have a private practice and you're seeing patients or clients in person, but you might be thinking about adding virtual online sessions as one of the services you offer. Well, whether you're just starting out or if you're working on adding to your services, it's really important to make sure that you start with the right telehealth platform, and it really depends on your practice's needs. So in this video, I'm going to outline the top 3 types of HIPAA compliant platforms, and you'll learn more about what might be the best match for your practices and the therapy services that you provide. I'm Jessica McMurray from playitforwardtherapy.net, and I'm on a mission to empower and to equip therapy entrepreneurs with the business strategies to achieve a rewarding and profitable private practice. I'm here to help you maximize your private practice's potential so that you can save time and that you can really focus on what you do best, and that's helping and healing others. Before we talk shop, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any future videos. Some questions you want to ask yourself before you invest in a HIPAA-compliant telehealth platform are: question number 1, what is HIPAA and why is it important to me? Well, first of all, HIPAA stands for the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act, but there's a couple other terms that you should familiarize yourself to so you can stay out of telehealth trouble. The first one is EPHI, which stands for Electronic Protected Health Information, or a BAA, which is a Business Associates Agreement. And this is really important because it's an agreement between you and the telehealth platform software and you as a provider that says that the software will protect your patient's confidential health information and that they have taken safeguards when it comes to the technology to be able to do that. Another term is EHR, which is Electronic Health Records, and EMR, which is Electronic Medical Records. The second question to ask yourself is, what features should I look for in a platform? Well, that really depends. So if you're just a solo practitioner versus if you have multiple professionals on your team, you really want to consider a platform that can meet the needs of the various professionals. So if you have a team of OT, PT, or speech, or mental health, or dietitians, it's really important that you know the platform you're choosing isn't just discipline specific. You also want to consider what your current needs are. So if you already have a system in place for practice management, then maybe all you need is the telehealth or the video conferencing. So for example, at my clinic, I had already committed to billing, documentation, and an EMR software. So all I really needed was just the video conferencing aspect. So we're going to talk about the 3 different categories. So the first category is video conferencing only. The second category is telehealth with partial electronic health record capabilities. And the third category is telehealth plus all-in-one EHR and EMR. In other words, practice management software that also enables you to do telehealth. So currently, there are over 300 different types of platforms currently on the market, and this number is growing. So I am just going to highlight the most popular and the most user-friendly HIPAA-compliant platforms for therapists. Now, the bad news for some of you, as I hate to break it to you, is if you are using FaceTime, Skype, or Google Hangouts, are definitely not HIPAA compliant. So if there is a HIPAA compliant version, it's worth the investment to upgrade your account to make sure you are HIPAA compliant. But FaceTime and Skype and Google Hangouts are not HIPAA compliant. My top 3 picks for video conferencing only are Zoom, WebEx for healthcare, and DoxyMe. So let's take a look at each one of these. So Zoom for healthcare is HIPAA compliant, but the basic Zoom is not. So I hate to break it to you, but the basic Zoom is not HIPAA compliant. So you would need to pay to make sure that you have the HIPAA compliant version with the BAA. So here we are at the Zoom website. It's zoom.us/healthcare. And I like Zoom because you have a different number of capabilities. Obviously, you can screen share and you can chat, but I also like that you're able to annotate. So that means I can draw or write on the screen. And I can also give shared control to my clients. For example, if I want them to type something in or if I want them to be able to operate the mouse. And I also like the ability to be able to change my virtual virtual background. And I also like not being limited to the number of participants that I have joining, or also not being limited to the amount of time that I have. So here's a quick glance of the Cisco WebEx for Healthcare site. It's webex.com/industry/healthcare. And you can start by signing up for a free account, and you could do that right directly on the website there. And the next, we're going to check out DoxyMe. And here's the DoxyMe site. It's doxy.me. And some nice features are no download is required. It's free to use. You can use it worldwide, and the BAA is included in the free version. The second category of telehealth platform is if you need the video conferencing part, but some EHR, so some electronic health records. And this might be in the help of forms to send your clients and scheduling, and then being able to actually run the telehealth session. So my two favorites are G Suite, so Google. Here we are at workspace.google.com, and I'm going to highlight some of the apps that I think are the most pertinent for starting your private practice. Now, this is really convenient to have an email address with your custom domain name, so your name at yourpractice.com instead of at gmail.com, and it just looks much more professional if you have your business name as part of your email. And then you would use Google Meet for your telehealth sessions. And like I mentioned earlier, there's so many different extensions that you can add on to enhance your telehealth sessions. And the chat function is also important and helpful, especially if you want to send a client or a patient a website link, for example, or other resources. And you can definitely integrate the calendar with Google Meet as well in terms of setting up your telehealth sessions. And then, of course, there's lots of storage with the Google Drive. Now, the other area you might want to take a look at too are slides, and using slides for telehealth and making interactive slides, or using forms. So using the HIPAA compliant version of Forms for Business, you can create your own intake forms and other questionnaires that you want to ask your clients as well. Now let's talk about pricing. So if you're just starting out, you could try it for 14 days, but I do recommend that you just get started with the business starter for $6 a month if you're actually going to start seeing people via telehealth, because you need to have the BAA. And it is not part of the free version. It is definitely part of one of the paid plans here. So you can just take a look and you can see what best matches your practice and your needs. The other reason why I like G Suite is because there's always different extensions that you can add to enhance your telehealth sessions. So you can grade it up or down depending on what your practice needs are. So for example, if you want to be able to split your screen or offer a shared control or be able to annotate, there are different extensions that you can add on to your G Suite to really make it user-friendly, and it can also help you with the forms and scheduling, for example. My second choice that is video conferencing and partial EHR, it's called Intake Q. Now, Intake Q is really nice because it offers you the ability to send your clients online forms. So sometimes getting started with the paperwork can be really time consuming, as well as tracking it down. And so you can take your current forms that you are using and convert them to online forms using Intake Q. And then there's also the telehealth platform part of it. You can integrate it with your Zoom account if all you need are the online forms. So I really like Intake Q because you can scale it up or you can scale it down. Here we are at intakeq.com. So online intake forms send secure electronic forms to your clients and receive them back prior to appointments. So if you've ever struggled with collecting paperwork or getting signatures, you might really like this. It's really convenient for your patients too, especially if they prefer to fill out a form electronically versus having to print it out and handwrite it. The other important thing about this form is that when you're doing telehealth, you definitely need a telehealth consent, and being able to have your clients really quickly and conveniently sign forms is a real great plus for Intake Q. The other thing, you can also upload them to your website so your clients can access them online. You can personalize it and use your own branding, and then it's also mobile friendly, which is really convenient for your clients as well. So these are some optional features. Now this is why it's telehealth plus partial EMR. So you can do your telehealth sessions, and then you can also create your chart templates. You can receive faxes. You can have your information stored in one place. And you can also do some billing and invoicing as well. And there's a secure client portal for your clients to have access to. And there's an appointment management function as well. So in addition to being able to create your forms, you have all of this partial EMR, which can be really handy for starting out your practice. The third category of telehealth software are the all-in-one softwares if you're looking for practice management. So this is especially helpful if you're just getting started and you're already not attached to an EMR system. You can just get something that does everything at once. So that includes telehealth and helping you run your practice. So the billing, the scheduling, the documentation, all that is included in one system. And there are two that seem to be really compatible with therapy professionals, especially OT, PT, speech, and mental health. And these are good sort of all-around general therapy platforms. So the first one is called TheraPlatform and is my top pick for PT, OT, speech, and mental health providers. So here we are on the TheraPlatform website, and the main reason why I like this all-in-one platform is because you have the option to do both types of therapy when it comes to in-person or telehealth office visits. Now I'm going to go straight over to the pricing tab, and let's take a look and see what the cost is. So you can do monthly or yearly, and you can also do it based on if you're just a single provider or if you have additional providers. Now, there are lots of different features here, but I'm going to highlight what I appreciate about TheraPlatform when it comes to doing telehealth. So first of all, number one, it's obviously HIPAA compliant, but having that interactive whiteboard, especially if you're working within pediatrics, and being able to share resources and demonstrate handwriting, for example, or draw. This is really great because it has an annotation function. There's also a resource library, and you can also record the session, especially if it's something that you need to look back upon, or if you're doing an online evaluation and you need to be able to observe the child again to see what they actually did during the session. When it comes to scheduling too, the paid version has a lot of nice features as far as online booking and sending email reminders, which is really important to help mitigate no-shows or late cancellations as well. And then when it comes to therapy notes, there are some templates, but there's also functions for progress notes and treatment plans and paperless intake forms. Again, it's really important to start going electronic, and it's much easier to track and to be able to send forms and track forms from clients if everything is electronic. And this is where some of the extras are in terms of being able to track your goals and the client's progress, and also being able to co-sign. So this is especially important if you have students or if you also have therapy assistants as well. And then the billing functionalities too, it does integrate with your claim filing. I believe this is probably an extra service, but you can also run credit cards and do invoices and super bills. And then there's the client portal as well to be able to help contact your clients, for them to leave messages for you, and then also to be able to provide homework or home programs. So if you scroll down to the bottom, you can see that they have things broken up in the different types of disciplines. So speech therapy, mental health, as well as physical therapy and occupational therapy. So if you're in one of those disciplines, I recommend you check it out. The second all-in-one practice management telehealth software is called SimplePractice. And this seems to be really friendly to various types of providers and all different types of therapists. It's a really good kind of general, robust practice management for telehealth. And let's take a quick peek at their website. So here we are on the SimplePractice website, simplepractice.com. And again, I like this one because it's all-in-one EMR, AHR, practice management for both telehealth and in-person visits. So it really offers that flexibility depending on what you're providing, and you can do both. When it comes to pricing, you can also do a free trial, but there's the essential and then there's the professional. So you can see there's another matrix that just outlines what you get with the essential and the professional packages. There's scheduling capabilities. There's the documentation. You can load your previous notes by copying notes from past visits. I think this is definitely a great time saver. And it looks like they have lots of templates to save you time as well. Plus they have diagnosis and treatment plans, and they have some coding assistant here. Now, the next thing we want to take a peek at is the billing functionality. So being able to charge clients' credit cards, being able to store and process credit cards, that is a nice feature as well. And then there's also claims and electronic billing for insurances, and this is really helpful. Now, the next thing you want to take a peek at too is just your access to your data and also your access to support. So it looks like they have some more information here. So what I find interesting is this right here where they compare SimplePractice to the different telehealth platforms. Now you can take a peek at it, but you really want to just keep in mind what is it that you need for your practice and what are the key features that will save you time and make your life easier. I know we covered a lot of information about the different categories of telehealth platforms out there, so I'm going to give you a quick recap. So for video conferencing only, my top picks are Zoom for healthcare, Cisco WebEx for healthcare, and Doxy.me. My top choices for telehealth plus partial EHR would be the G Suite for healthcare and Intake Q, which also integrates with Zoom. And finally, if you're looking for practice management software that also enables you to do telehealth, it would be practice management software such as TheraPlatform and SimplePractice. So there you have it. So those are the three categories of telehealth softwares that I think will really help you out. I hope this video helped save you time in your research. It'll definitely take you a little bit of soul searching and practice thinking in terms of what your needs are for your practice and who is in your practice. So my other advice to you is make sure that you choose one that allows you to grow. I would have never imagined that when I started my practice out of the trunk of my car over 15 years ago that I would be doing telehealth. And so it's been a really wonderful addition to add to my brick and mortar practice. So whether you're doing telehealth only or you're adding it as a complementary service to your current practice setup, I think it's really exciting, and I really wish you the best of luck as you get started with choosing all of your systems and the best platform for your practice. If you found this video helpful and if my research will save you some time, make sure to like, subscribe, and don't forget to hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any future videos.